Doing this for 10 minutes every day could be the secret to a long life. It's your number of the day. Lots of end of school year celebrations happening, and Brody, who's 12, was at a yearbook signing. Nobody signed his yearbook until something happened on Facebook, and I think it's gonna make you smile. Surprisingly, it's not checking your phone, which is what I do, but the best thing to do when you first wake up, it's a way to level up your life. And she was an incredible runner and an Olympic hopeful. Then everything changed when Gabrielle was diagnosed with cancer. But how she moved on, I think is going to encourage you. It's your Daily Joy Scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is
10 minutes. If you go on a 10-minute power walk every day, researchers say it could be the secret to a long life. But maybe you've got something else. You say, Andy, this is my secret to a good life. One thing that I've learned is not to take myself too seriously. I used to get so mad if I made one little mistake, especially on the air. And now I realize it's those mistakes that make us human.
Hey, how you doing? This is Patty. Just had to call and tell you it's me and my husband's 35th wedding anniversary.
Oh, well, Patty, congratulations. That's a big milestone. What's the secret to a long marriage?
The Lord. If it weren't for God, there's a few times we both would have checked out, but we both, following God and don't want to, stomp on his feet or what have you.
Psst, want to know a secret? The secret of being content in any and every situation. And this doesn't come from me. This comes from a guy who was beaten and whipped and shipwrecked and jailed, and eventually he lost his life to follow Jesus. And he shares this in the Bible. He said, this is the secret. I've learned this, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's 10 words. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, in the Bible, it's Philippians 4:13, but I like to call it the 10-finger prayer because it's 10 words. So anytime you're going through a tough thing and you don't know how you're going to get through, you can just look down at your hands and just count it out by your fingers. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
There's nothing better than getting to the end of the school year, but then if you were an awkward kid like me, it was really tough to go to those parties and have to do the yearbook signing and walk around and hope that someone would sign your yearbook. And well, Brody, who's 12, came home from a yearbook signing, and there was only 2 students that signed his yearbook, and one of them was him. He wrote a note to himself saying, I hope you have more friends next year. When his mom saw this, she was heartbroken, and so she just posted a message to a private local group of parents saying, hey, watch out, there's still a lot of bullying happening in our schools. And Brody was understandably scared when he went back to school the next day, and he was surrounded by a group of high schoolers, but they weren't going to beat him up or make fun of him. They said, hey, where's your yearbook? We want to sign it too. And by the end of the day, Brody had over 100 signatures in his yearbook and more friends than he can ever count. There's nothing worse than when you're talking to somebody and then you realize halfway through the conversation, they're not paying attention. I'm just going to stop talking. What's the point? What's the point? I hope you never feel that way, though, with God, where you just say, God, you're not paying attention. I'm going to stop. What's the point? Because he's always listening. And talking to God, that's what prayer is. So you can always pray. He's always listening. Jesus says this to God in the Bible. He says, I know you always hear and listen to me. And here's the cool thing. You think, okay, well, that's for Jesus. It's not for me. It is for you. It is for me. Because we're in Jesus too. So God's your heavenly Father. And just like a good parent, he wants what's best for his kids. So you can share whatever's on your heart. Let God know what you need. And then trust him for it. Maybe you're getting all the catering figured out for your child's high school graduation party. Oh, they grow up so fast.
I have an amazing son. When he was about 6 or 7, he got into the garage and he pulled the barbecue out, took the barbecue top off the gas grill, and made a bike ramp with some other stuff he found in the garage. When I pulled up after work, he said, "Mom, watch." And he takes his bike and he jumps way up in the air, does this funky thing where he lets the bike twirl around out from underneath him, and land, did another twirly thing, and skidded up to my feet and said, "And when I get old, I'm going to drive a Porsche." And I said, "Not while you live in my household. Put my barbecue back together."
If you and mornings don't mix, here's the first thing you can do to start your day off right every day. It's the way to level up your life. It is to make your bed. And Navy SEAL Admiral William McRaven talked about the power of doing that in a commencement speech.
You will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed.
If you missed your life tip today to level up your life, there is a 4-star retired Navy general who said, "The key to a successful day is to start it by making your bed."
I heard that 3 years ago, and I've been making my bed ever since, and it's true. And if I don't, it feels weird.
All right, what's the secret to a well-made bed?
Just to pull the covers up and to fluff up your pillows.
I wanted to tell you how much the making your bed thing has actually touched my life.
It's so funny. Of all the things I've talked about, people are really resonating with this. Yeah, so a retired military guy said the best thing you can do to start your day is just make your bed.
My husband and I were having issues, and he had some really big problems, and I had come home finally, and I saw it on Facebook. So I started making my bed every day because I just thought like that was just such a beautiful thing, because I was going through such a bad time too that it's like, you know what, coming home and having that bed made was just amazing. And at the time, my husband and I were even sleeping in separate beds, so that was like my safe space. And looking back at where we were then, I shared that story with him and showed him the video, and he started doing the same thing. And where we were, I was so far away from Christ, and having grown up and known him my whole life, and I was still so far away from him. And my husband never really knew Christ at the time, and this was just about a year and a half ago. And now, since then, I have been confirmed in the Catholic faith, and my husband is actually now going through the same process. All of my fears where I thought he would never come join to Christ, he's there, we're both there together, and it's all because I started making my bed.
She was an incredible runner and an Olympic hopeful. And then Gabrielle Greenwald's life completely crashed down around her when she was diagnosed with cancer. Then she had a decision to make. Do I stop running or do I keep going?
It might be easier for me to just sit on the couch and say I don't want to run anymore. It might not go well, but I think it's worth doing even if it's not perfect. And I think that sometimes we're too quick to give up on the things that we love and the things that make us feel alive when something is going wrong in our lives, but I just really feel strongly that we have to hold on to them.
Here's today's Hope Highlight.
In a world that's more prideful than ever, the opposite is so important, humility. That's what it says in 1 Peter 5, 6 through 7. It says, "Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God so that at that proper time, he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you." So true humility, what does that look like? It means that we see God's power and his control of our life, and we give him the complete control that he can take anyway, knowing that his plans are way better than our plans. If you're trying to get the motivation to change your life, it doesn't work. It's worthless. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. What we all need, I'm working on this too, is discipline. That's the ability to keep showing up and putting in the work, even when you don't feel like it. Successful people don't chase motivation. They build habits. You may feel that you're unworthy of God's love, and it's not just that you feel like you have nothing to give him, but you've done so many things against him that you have to apologize for over and over again. There's no way he'd love you. You've got so many things in your past that you're embarrassed to think about, let alone confess to God. So why would God ever bless someone like you? Well, the answer is right in the Bible. It says in the Bible that we were dead, and there's nothing we could offer to earn the blessing of salvation. Yet, God, being rich in mercy, showed you and me his love by sending Jesus to our rescue. So that means, yes, you were once far away, but now you've been brought near. You once were a stranger, but now you are a citizen in God's household. And God not only has saved you, but he has also planned good works for you to do, planned those in advance for you to do. So those blessings, those are priceless gifts, and you can hold on to them today when you don't feel worthy of God's love. Remember this, you are blessed simply because you are his. If you don't want to feel so lonely right now, this is kind of cool. New research found this, and I'm sure you'll think about this. You'll think, yeah, that makes sense. People are less lonely when they embrace uncertainty and feel empathy. And the big thing about empathy is, just reaching out to people maybe people you just kind of acquaintances with, and just hear their story.